All right, we are going to be factoring quadratics. So remember, a quadratic is an x squared. It's power of 2, or degree of 2. Also, they're going to be trinomials. So there's going to be 3 terms, and the greatest term is going to be our x squared, okay? Here are the steps to factoring quadratics. The biggest one is you first need to find if there's a GCF, and you need to pull that GCF out, okay, and then divide everything by it. After that, we're going to do our ABCs. After that, we're going to multiply AC, and we're going to find their factors. Once we do that, once we find their factors, we need to find which factors add up to our B. And then lastly, we are going to factor by grouping. Okay? All right, so let's start with our examples. We've got, I think, a lot, like 6 or 7 examples. All right, so the first thing we do is we do our, we see if we have a GCF. So my coefficient here is a 1. So if the coefficient is a 1, if that's the smallest one, or the smallest coefficient, then obviously there's no GCF. So we're going to do our A, B, C's. So my A is 1, my B is 9, my C is 20. I'm just taking the coefficients. Now I go over to the right, and I find my AC, which is 1 times 20, which is just 20. Now I need to find my factors. So 20 is 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 doesn't work, but 4 times 5 does. I'm finished with my factors because 4 and 5 are right next to each other. So if I went again, it'd be 5 times 4, and I already have that one covered. All right, now my AC is positive. So I'm going to try to figure out which 2 numbers add up to 9. So 1 plus 20 is 21. 2 plus 10 is 12. 4 plus 5 is 9. So those are the ones I want to go for. Now I'm going to factor by grouping. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking these 2 factors and I'm subbing them out here. So I rewrite my x squared, and then I'm substituting this out for these. So this is now plus 4x plus 5x, 4 or 5. And then at the end, I had plus 20, so plus 20. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so I break it up into 2. At this first one, I can factor out an x, leaving me with x plus 4. I have a plus in the middle, so I have to have a plus here. The greatest common factor of 5x plus 5 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. I'm left with an x. 20 divided by 5 is a positive 4. These have to be identical, and sure enough, they are, so I rewrite it. And then my other one, or my other binomial, is what's left over, so x plus 5. That is completely factored. Here's the next one. All right, so 2 is my smallest coefficient. 2 does not go into 5, and all those numbers are prime, so I don't have a GCF, so I do my ABCs. So 2, 5, 2, right? A, B, C. I go over here, I do my AC, so 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I do my factors of 4. 1 times 4, 2 times 2. I need to figure out which 2 factors add up to 5. So 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 2 is 4, so that one's the winner, right? Because I want this to equal this. All right, so now I'm going to substitute out this 5x for these factors. So I rewrite my 2x squared, and then I'm subbing out for these. So plus 1x plus 4x, and then drop down your plus 2. Now I've got 4 terms, so I factor by grouping, these 2 and these 2. The greatest common factor of my first group is just an x, and I'm left with 2x plus 1. Here's a plus, so I put plus. The greatest common factor of 4x plus 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then I have my x. 2 divided by 2 is a positive 1. These have to be identical. Sure enough, they are, so I rewrite it. It's 2x plus 1, and then whatever's left over, x plus 2. Factored. All right, my smallest coefficient is a 2. 2 does not go into 3, and those are prime, so I do my ABCs since I don't have a GCF. My A is 3, my B is negative 7, my C is 2. Be careful, your B is negative 7. Remember, you always take the sign in front. Now I find my AC. My AC is 3 times 2, which is 6. Do your factors. 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Now, I need to get to a negative 7. So I have to have it to where my AC is multiplication, right? So I have to have a positive 6, but I have to get to where they add up, it's negative 7. So I have to make these all negative. And the reason I have to do that is because negative 1 times negative 6 is a positive 6. However, negative 1 minus 6 is also negative 7, which is where I wanted to go, right? So now I take my factors. Oops, not creative pen. I take my factors, and I'm going to substitute out up here. So I rewrite my 3g squared. I now sub in a negative 1g, a negative 6g, and then I just rewrite my plus 2. Now I've got 4 terms, so I factor by grouping. Okay, out of the first one, all I can take out is a g. I'm left with 3g minus 1. Remember, this is a negative, so I have to take out a negative. And the greatest common factor of 6g plus 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then I have g. 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. Factor by grouping, those have to be identical. They are. I rewrite it, and whatever is left over. So g minus 2. Next one. All right, so my smallest coefficient is 10. 10 does not go into 19. 10 is 2 times 5. 5 does not go into 19, and neither does 2. So there is no GCF, so I just do my ABCs. My A is 10, my B is negative 19, my C is negative 15. All right, so now I find my AC. So my AC is 10 times negative 15, which is negative 150. Do my factors. 1, 150, and I'm going to worry about that negative here in a minute. 2, 75, 3, 50. I don't think 4 goes in. Let me grab my calculator. Ooh. Maybe it does. 150 divided by 4. Nope. Okay. 150 divided by 5. So 5 and 30. Divided by 6. 6 and 25. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. 9 doesn't work. 10 works. 11 doesn't work. 12 doesn't. 13 doesn't. 14 doesn't. And I'm back at 15. All right. So my AC has to be negative, which means in order to have two numbers multiplied to become a negative, one has to be negative, right? A negative times a positive is a negative. I want my B to be negative when I add them up. So I have to have the larger number, and you might have to do a little bit of trial and error with this one, but if my B is negative and my AC is negative, I put the negatives on the larger number. Okay, now I add them up. 1 minus 150 is a negative 149. 2 minus 75 is negative 73. This would give me negative 47. Negative 25. 6 minus 25. I'm feeling good about it. Negative 19. And then down here we've got negative 5. So once again, my B is a negative 19. This is the winner. So now I'm going to factor out by grouping. So I need to substitute those in here. So my 10W squared, I just rewrite. I sub out a positive 6W a negative 25W, and then I have that minus 15. I've got 4 terms, so I've got to group by factoring. Out of here, I can take out a 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Oops, not just a 2. 2W, my bad. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then I have that W. 6 divided by 2 is a positive 3. My W's cancel. This is a negative, so I have to take out a negative. Greatest common factor between 25W minus 15 is a 5. Negative 25 divided by 5 is 5W. Negative 15 divided by negative 5 is a positive 3. These have to be identical. Sure enough, they are. So I rewrite it as 5W plus 3, and I'm left with 2W minus 5. All right, so 4 is my smallest coefficient. 4 does not go into 15. 4 is 2 times 2. 2 does also not go into 15, so I do my ABCs. 4, 15, negative 4. I go over and find my AC, which is 4 times negative 4, which is negative 16. I do my factors, 1, 16, 2, 8, 4, 4. Remember, my AC is negative, so I'm going to have to put negative on one of them. This time my B is positive. So if my B is positive, I want to put the negative on the smaller numbers. Okay, now I'm going to add them up. Negative 1 plus 16 is a positive 15, and honestly, I can stop there because that's what I want. Now I'm going to sub these out up here. So 4b squared, and then I'm subbing out over here. So minus b, we can put a 1b there, plus 16b, and then just rewrite your minus 4. And now we're going to factor by grouping. So out of here, I can only take out a b. I'm left with 4b minus 1. That's a plus, so I have to put plus. 4 goes into 16, so I can take out a 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4b. Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. Those are identical, so I rewrite. And whatever's left over, b plus 4. Next one. All right, so my smallest coefficient is 3. 3 goes into 30. 3 also goes into 63. So the first thing I need to do is factor out a 3. And I'm going to put it down here so I don't forget it. This is going to be my answer box. So I divide everything by 3, which gives me a squared plus 10a plus 21. All I did was divide each term by 3. Now I can do my ABCs. So ABC, 1, 10, 21. My AC is 1 times 21, which is just 21. Do my factors, 1, 21, 3, 7. My B is a positive 10. My AC is also positive, so I'm just going to add them up. This gives me 22. This gives me 10. That's the winner. These are going to go in here. So I've got, let's move this down a little bit. So I've got 1a squared, so just a squared, plus 3a plus 7a plus 21. Factor by grouping. Again, we're going to move this down a little bit. Okay, I can take out an a, leaving me with a plus 3. There's a positive. I can take out a 7, leaving me with a plus 3. Now I've got an a plus 3, a plus 7. And that's finally factored. And I got to rush this one because I only got like 30 seconds. My smallest coefficient is 3. 3 does not go into 4, so I do my ABCs. 4, negative 3, negative 3. So my AC is 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4. My AC is negative. I need to get my B to be negative, so I'm going to put it on the larger numbers. 1 minus 12 is negative 11. 6 minus 2 minus 6 is negative 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. If you look, none of these numbers added up to negative 3. Therefore, this is prime. All right, here are your practice problems. Go ahead and do all of them.